Fantasy, something you can only imagine, a dream. In Los Angeles, everyone lives the fantasy, even the ones not in the entertainment industry, an athlete, or maybe even a politician. Since the 80s, the youth have been out of touch with the fantasy, knowing that one day it could be theirs, where the just and the unjust try to prevail from one extreme to another. Whose fantasy is it? Fatherless seeds in the land of the wolves. It leaves the young ones lost, not knowing what it takes to be a survivor in this world. In today's world, the best way to talk to our urban youth is through rap music. But the question is, does rap music help our community or does it destroy it? What is your definition of a fantasy?
My community was like drug infested. You know, we grew up on a tail end of the 80s. We was born in the 70s, but we was growing up in the 80s, so you already know what Reaganomics is and all that. And hip hop came up out of that for us.
They don't have no workshops in the hood where, you know, that's going against what the program really is, as far as if you's a thug and you gangbang, there's nothing to say, well, here's a school over here to teach you how not to be a thug or a gangbang. It don't even exist. So it's like when you turn him loose back in the hood and then he tries to get a job and nobody hires him because he has to put on his application that he's been arrested and he's on parole. What else is he supposed to do?
So I just want to know, it was brought to my attention, does the killer come along with this?
You looking really for yourself. It's on a subconscious level, but we've been conditioned and programmed to where we hate ourselves that much.
10 blocks radius, ain't no jobs paying over $10, you know what I mean? So what's the deal? They ain't trying to pay me $6, $7, you know, an hour, you know? The average cat got rent, bills, you know what I'm saying? The average cat, he ain't just trying to sit up in the house on the weekend.
Nowadays, when I come to work, I'm seeing like youngsters probably like the 9th grade, smoking blunts, walking to school. I would say at least wait till you graduate, then celebrate.
One of my cousins was like, you know, your best friend and your worst enemy. So, you know, I was a young dude and they had me smoking weed and drinking and gang banging and loading guns and shooting at folks, you know what I mean, before I even knew what I was really doing or what was really going on.
Whatever I was trying to do, there was always competition. And when it was sports, it was always kids that wanted my position or wanted, you know, the role that I was after. Whenever I started rapping, it was other rappers that tried to rap better than me. When I got involved with gangs, it was other that tried to bang harder than me.
Sometimes you kind of feel like you can't win or you can't help, you know, so you know, it gets a little, when you're a person like me, I'm left-handed and I'm really emotional. Well, I used to be, I'm not as emotional as I used to be, but, you know, when you feel like you can't do anything about it, you know, the sense of hopelessness builds, and it's hard to break that down. It's hard to, you know, to balance that with, you know, hope.
Usually a role model is somebody on TV or their parents, but in today's world, young kids look up to the gangster on the street.
I think my community is like this, you know, because certain families don't have a full family, as so to speak. Moms is pops and moms, you know. They come from communities where the big homie is your role model, and the big homie doing 5 to 10s. You know, half the time it's just sitting outside watching cats older than you, getting drunk and smoking weed, and you know that's what you grow up to think you're supposed to be doing.
Because of the parents. Parents are scared of the kids. The parents are scared of any other kid. Parents are letting kids rule. It's strictly the parents. It's us adults who's on these streets, who's not taking care of our streets. If each adult on the block did what they did when we was kids, which is you come down the street and you mess it up and they go take you back home to your mom and dad and you get in trouble, the streets will be just fine.
There was a time where you could walk down the street and walk past an older man, and if your pants were sagging, that man will tell you, hey man, pull up your pants, man, get right. Today, them cats might be afraid of you to even speak to you if they even care about you at all.
And that base, that foundation, because you don't got a foundation, you ain't got shit. You can't build on top of weak ground. That's just point A. You can't do that.
So if your mom and your dad ain't there to influence your life, then who else gonna influence you? Everybody else around you, the gangbangers, the drug dealers, the hustlers, the bums, the smokers.
And then when you see their parents, you see they're a direct reflection of the child, and the parent is a direct reflection of some of the most negative aspects of our culture.
I think everybody has to be responsible for themselves and for their offspring. I think it's an element in our generation and amongst our people in my part of town that probably can't be saved. You got third and fourth generation levels of ignorance that you can't even blame on the culprit that's actually the product these days. The youngsters today, he's not even necessarily to blame. A lot of what you see him producing is built up from generations before passing it down to him.
I think you look at certain older people as a role model. Yeah, people always say they don't want the responsibility as being a role model. People don't want to be a role model because it comes with responsibility. Nobody wants to be responsible. But somewhere we all have to be responsible for something and someone.
I'm not willing to take my hands off of no generation of people. You know, that's ridiculous to me. You know, I'm like, I refuse to not pour into the generation that's coming up with whatever I can. You know, with whatever knowledge that I've learned, with the lessons I've learned coming up, with all the things that I've learned. This is negative, this is positive. Don't go this way, man. Let me tell you my story. Let me tell you what I've experienced so that you don't have to learn the same way I did.
I don't think it was because he didn't want to be there. I just think it's because, you know, the relationship he and my mom had or whatnot. But at a certain point in my life, he did become instrumental to a certain extent, and I love him to death today, so it don't really matter too much.
If we're gonna break the cycle of the whole father figure being missing or being deleted from a family scene, then I think it starts with the pa himself and knowing that he had a responsibility, you know, to lay, if it was fun laying down making a baby, then he should spend the necessary time to make sure that that baby is raised in such a manner to where he could be proud, you know, as opposed to being on the run and just getting away from the kid and wondering how he turned out, you know what I mean? Like, I think pops should play a real role in their kids rearing their children, especially if it's their children. Now, some pops, they got a right to, you know, to run from the kid because, you know, some mothers, you know, don't be totally truthful, and I've seen dudes raise other dudes' kids, man, and I don't think that's cool either, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, a father figure is a father figure for what it's worth, so.
You know, everybody feel like, especially when you're a kid, until you grow up and you mature, you feel like I'm the only one going through it. You know what I'm saying? It's just me. And then you grow up and you learn that, hey, man, ghetto to ghetto, hood to hood, especially if you get the opportunity to go outside your own neighborhood. You know what I mean? It's good to do that.
Music, movies, television can make a community worse, you know, because you have more people in the community that's not listening to that music than you have listening to the music. So, you know, where are the men, where are the adults, where are the people who's supposed to have all the sense? Why they not stepping up and getting the community how they want it? Because they scared and they in the house and all the kids and the youngsters on the street.
Like a cycle, so like a 20-year cycle, like every 20 years the same type of shit going around again. So it's like, it's crack like the 80s is back. But now it's the music. It ain't even the drug. Like the music is the crack. Like, damn, this is a new phenomenon.
You might be young and you're looking on TV and you're seeing all these rappers and you're like, oh man, they got the Rolls and the whole line, the Bentley and the big home. And so that becomes your fantasy to be like, man, I want to do anything I could do to get down with that movement because they look like they living a good life.
If you're a rapper, you have like a bunch of nice clothes, cars, huge houses, like giant mansions, and go to all these clubs all the time.
They got all the mansions, all the cars. Yeah, I think they make a lot of money.
The false images that they put out it's fake, you know? Like a real person will know, you know, well, I can't go and look at a picture of Snoop Dogg and dress exactly like Snoop Dogg, like, and just expect myself to feel like Snoop Dogg.
When it comes to a video or a commercial, maybe the production designer may call me and say they want a Bugatti, you know, for Baby from Cash Money to roll up in or something. And then I send them, I send them over pictures of the car. They let the director see or whoever's making the choice see. and they call me back and say, hey, this is the one we want. It kind of makes the video and the artist look good. I mean, people can look at it and say, hey, you know, sometimes it could turn into a commercial. We may bring a car with some wheels and like, oh, I want to get those wheels. So, you know, it all depends. You know, it all depends on how the audience perceives it.
Just trying to get their money. That's all. I ain't even really mad at them, but I'm just saying keep it real though.
Keep it real.
Keep it real.
Some of these keeping it real.
Cause they be on some
Snoop been
old
keeping it real
super
to me.
falsifying.
Some of these artists, you know, they want to drive Bentleys and, you know, look good in the videos, and, you know, and they may even own one, but sometimes, you know, they live in an apartment with a, you know, with a $200,000 car, and, you know, look what I drive. I drive a, you know, a hybrid Prius.
They're like in cars driving through stuff, like almost in every video. Like they have to be in the car in every video, almost all the time.
Like with some rappers, I could say the gangs or stuff, and some people want to get in gangs or they want to sell drugs because they see the rappers are rapping about it and think that, oh, they rapping about it, they still making money off of drugs. I'm gonna sell drugs too. When half of the rappers don't even sell drugs or never even did it before.
When you out there speaking on certain subjects, you gotta have some people to back you up. You know, it's just like Jay-Z said, we don't believe you, we need more people. You know what I mean?
All that dope talk. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing against all that there. You know, I lightweight do. Cause you know, that ain't doing nothing but tearing the hood down. Just getting money, but if you ain't putting money back in the hood, then you're a part of they plan.
You know, you can't look up to a man that's like, you know, basically he's looking forward to going to jail, or basically he's not rapping about nothing positive.
Even though it's not all positive, like things they writing, but I feel they doing something, and I just like it. Like, I'm not no rapper personally, but I listen to it and I listen to the words, and some be bad, some be good, but you know, I like it all.
Certain people like Eminem, I used to quote his stuff back and front and backwards. I remember being in high school, and I'm 20, it's not that long ago, like writing raps about my history teacher on how, you know, I would light her body on fire and drag her through the fields. Like, that's the impact hip hop had on my life. But that was a release. But every time I would think about that or listen to those lyrics and put it inside of my heart, it would just build up, and it would make me more angry, and it would gravitate, it will cause me to become more of what I heard.
Growing up from the 90s and seeing like hip hop really take a toll on the teens, and growing up now, I think hip hop has low key like lost its basic touch to hit somebody, to having a meaning to music anymore.
I was studying movie scripts, and some of the greatest directors right now know that every 5 pages they have to have a sexual reference in order to keep the attention of the viewer. MTV has 1,000 sexual references every hour of scheduled programming. BET is very similar. They know what they're doing. They know what they need to do to draw and hold our attention.
I think sometimes they put a big light on all the negativity stuff because it makes a better story. That's just what it is. It's just true to the game. It makes everybody wants a better story. So is the story better if I come and be like, oh man, we went on the block and they was fighting and beating up, and man, you should have seen it. It's gonna be more appalling than me to be like, oh yeah, man, you know, the brother Farrakhan is really talking some good stuff and you should really listen to him. Most people are gonna be like, some people are gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna check it out, but the majority are gonna be like, I'll check that out, but tell me about the fight.
Video nowadays is just popping bottles and girls dancing. Like, it don't make sense, but that's what people want to see.
I feel that the labels are controlling this whole situation. They're not giving the music or giving the contract to the artists that are uplifting, that can grab people, you know, that can make things happen. They're not signing those people because they don't want that. They want how many, you know, they want a guy saying how many bitches they got, how many cars they got, how many diamonds, and what I got. Well, people don't want to know what you got. People want to know how to get it.
Let me read something to you real quick. Is that I study the culture, and Jay-Z has a song on Blueprint 3. It didn't get as much hype as some of his other songs, but it's called Forever Young. And right here is the epitome of what I see. It says, so we live life. This is his second verse. So we live life like a video. When the sun is always out and you never get old. And the champagne's always cold and the music's always good. And the pretty girls just happen to stop by in the hood. And they hop their pretty A's up on the hood of that pretty A car without a wrinkle in today, cause there is no tomorrow. Just some picture perfect day to last a whole lifetime, and it never ends. Cause all we have to do is hit rewind. So let's just stay in the moment, smoke some weed, drink some wine, reminisce, talk some S, forever young is in your mind. And that's what's in these kids' minds. It's like that Black Eyed Peas, I got a feeling tonight's gonna be a good night. You see all kinds of drugs and sex and drinking, and then they're like, man, we're just gonna hit rewind like he just said, and they were like, man, we're just gonna do it all over again. So there's this whole image of like, you know, even when they talk about their weekends, yeah, I'm about to go to a kickback, you know, or I went to a high school party, you know, man, you know, they was, and they'll be real with me, man, you know, we was drinking, or man, so-and-so, don't say you don't smoke. And it's like this whole idea of what is esteemed in the videos is esteemed in their minds.
When a hip hop rapper says he's a gangbanger, a blood, or a crip, my friends try to say that they're a blood or a crip because of what this rapper is and what that rapper is. They try to be them, but they think they're better.
I have a cousin that like before like he would listen to music, but he wasn't really into it, and then like now that negative music is out there and starting to listen to it, now he's changed like a lot. Like I don't know, it's like he's like now dressing like really baggy and like pretending he's a gang member, if you would say, like just so that he can fit in pretty much. And it's like with me, I listen to like, you know, positive music, but some music that's out there that I can't really listen to, I can't bump it in my car like with my mom, because it's like it's not a clean version or anything, but like I think it's affecting the community a lot, pretty much.
They are being indoctrinated in a way, you know? And media just pouring into them, and they're just soaking it all up to the point where they literally become the people that they want to be. It's not even, I'm trying to be like Lil Wayne anymore. It's like, low-key, I am Lil Wayne. You just don't know it. And it's like, Cass is just losing it.
The positive side of it, it helped the community. The positive side, it gave young men and young women other opportunities to display their talents. And it also gave other young people opportunity to become the businessmen and business people that they are, to use their intellect. Because it takes a lot of intellect and talent to come up with the beats and the music. It takes somebody to be able to do the business side of it. And you know, with hip hop, it taught people how to do business in a different way, on a corporate level and not so much a street level.
Yeah, I like it because people expressing their emotions, telling about their life and how you can, like, in a way, they can tell you how you can improve it, like don't do this, don't do that, and they tell you the consequences of what will happen if you do what you do. It's like it's helping you out in a way.
You know, you're only gonna be worth what you know. You're only gonna be able to earn on what you know. You know, you don't pay the plumber because he's stupid. You pay the plumber because he know what he's doing and you don't. You know, so it's all on knowledge. It's all on what you can retain and how can you use it to better your life and benefit yourself. So knowledge is the key. I think self-education is the most important thing, you know.
The hip-hop industry today has done a great job. They've done an excellent job. I applaud the hip-hop community for having our kids focused on something that's not of merit. They did a great job. They did it. If the executive plan that was set out on someone's table, whether it be at Sony, whether it be Universal, we need to get these kids off of education. We need to get these kids on something other than what they need to be on. They've done a great job. Excellent job.
So if we take a picture of society and we see the high STD rates, we see kids in depression, kids cutting themselves, we see like families being single parent homes day by day by day. We see the divorce rates going up, going up, going up. And hip hop is supposed to be the voice of the people.
A lot of people think it messes up our community, but to me, I think it's good to our community. Because some of the rappers, they get what's that on their mind.
And until we start, you know what I'm saying, getting that other money, that other money, and really flooding the community with these jobs and stuff like that, then we gonna still be kicking out this war zone type of music, because that's where we stuck at. We stuck in the zone to sell dope. We stuck in the zone to try to, you know, look for the best way out.
If these are the reporters of our culture, why are they not bringing out the sexually transmitted disease epidemic that is plaguing our community? African American young girls between the ages of 14 to 19 nationwide, half of them have one of the top 4 STDs. Half. This isn't just like in one state. This is in all 50 states. This is on CNN. This is getting published in the Wall Street Journal. For Caucasians and Latinos, it's 1 out of every 4, but 1 out of every 2 between 14 to 19? Are you serious? That's crazy.
The most ironic thing is Trey Songz, who has an album all about sex, is having an HIV/AIDS awareness concert. And it's like, your song is causing it. Why don't you apologize for all your music, and that will help AIDS out much more than you having an awareness concert, which you're gonna be talking about sex anyway at this concert.
Can't blame it on the music, because there's always been bad things in our community before this music came into play. So, you know, that ain't it. It's a deeper issue than that.
I think it's more the parents. You can't expect a rapper or a person that works in a record company to raise your kid. You know what I'm saying? That's your kid. That's your responsibility. They got their own kids. I'm sure a lot of those execs don't even let their kids listen to that music that they're making millions off of.
I'm not saying that the music is the sole cause, but man, it's pouring gasoline on a fire that is burning real strong.
I love their music. I love what they was doing to the kids, and it was all right, man. They was showing love. They was giving back to the community, dog. If you can do things like that and do it to the community and bring it back and make it poppin', it's all good. You show us love.
Every artist in the game claims, I do it for the streets, I do it for the hood. And in the process of doing it for the streets and the hood, you kill them. You don't do it for, and that used to make me so mad back when I was still like coming up. It made me mad while I was coming up, because I'm like, you haven't done anything for me. I'm sitting here listening to all these songs talking about you doing it for the streets, you doing it for the hood. And I'm like, I still haven't got nothing. What you giving me? You giving me money? No, you giving me support? You haven't rolled through my hood and passed out any food or toys? What exactly are you giving me? You giving me death, giving me all these ideas of what success is that I had to find out weren't true. You're giving me all these things in my head that I had to learn the hard way and find out it's not true.
Some people might think like, if this rapper can do this, maybe I can get away with it too. So I'm gonna try that and see what I can do, see what I can make of it. And in a way, it kind of helps us because it can influence many people to overcome and accomplish their dreams of doing what they want to.
Back in the day when you had a lot of rhymes, there was always an ending to the story. It all summed up to, okay, you could do this and this, but this could happen. Now it's just more like you could just do this and there's no repercussions in the game. So, you know what I mean? People could talk about, well, I can go shoot 5 people, but what's the repercussions of getting caught after you shoot those 5 people?
The odds of Lil Wayne walking down my street and me going up to meeting him are like 1 billion to 1. So me being able to actually talk to him and say, hey, you should make these changes in your rap style, or you should do this, are very slim. But I mean, I don't know how I would even begin to reach anyone to try to tell them how to change their music. And I don't think the rap artists are responsible because they're grown, you know? They can do what they want.
One of my favorite artists, he says, every rapper is a preacher, but what's your sermon about? You know, what do you want the people to know about you? You know, and his songs are just about 5-star chicks and like, get this money, get that, give me this, you know, instead of what can I do for my society?
This new generation is all about your look and your style. That's you know, I think it just depends on generation.
I like the jerky music. It's like, I don't know, it's like, it helps a lot of kids. A lot of kids get together, they get their little crews and everybody have fun. They go to parties and people do their own things. They make their music. It keeps them involved in something, you know, keep them out of gangs and stuff.
Some of the jerk culture songs, they won't even quote some of the lyrics. It was talking about sex so perversely and so outright. I was like, how can you even listen to it? You know, different songs like Eat It Like a Vulture.
We don't own any PGA, pro golf tours. We don't own any, the national basketball leagues. Like, we own hip hop. That's ours. Like, we don't have any, JP Morgan, financial investment places. We don't have H&R Block. We don't have our own government. We have hip hop. So, the fact that people can so easily man, no, hip-hop's not dangerous. The people that run hip-hop is dangerous.
These rappers, they want to talk about something, but the label will say, oh, that song's not hot. We need you to put a little bit more. Tell me, put some Maybachs in there. Put some more diamonds in there. Throw a couple more bitches and hoes in there. The masses are going to like that. No, the masses don't like that. But if you keep cramming it down their throat, that's all they can see and that's all they know.
We're being cheated out the game. You know what I'm saying? Record companies is getting $6, $7 a record. We only get change.
I'm in a business class and they had this guy come and he like in a little music thing, and he was letting us know that the rappers put a lot of time and a lot of money in this stuff. And when they do their little thing, they don't really make as much money as they make it seem to be. They just splurge a lot, but it don't really be that much money. Like, they have to pay a lot of people and it take a lot of time, and in the end they don't really get that much money. So I don't feel they make as much money as they make it seem.
They put out this false message of this is what it's about, but not telling the kids that the person that's that's playing on the radio is getting 5 cents off every album. It's not really, they were fronting $1 million so they can look like they're making money, but in the small print in the contract, they have to make 5 number one songs and have to go platinum, and if they don't, then they have to pay all their money back plus interest. And so these kids are believing this lie that's in hip hop.
To me, the music companies is another form of slavery in a way to control the masses, okay? Just like television and radio, just to control the masses. They put out music and beat it in your head, so that's what's in your head. That's what's in your head, nonstop. The cars. You got kids now talking about, little young kid, I want a Maybach, I want diamond, kids are saying this.
I listen to hip hop, I listen to Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, Soulja Boy, all those people. Not Chris Brown, because he went to jail.
Before there was our type of music, the people who were like us listened to the regular love songs and that everybody else enjoyed. When you go to prison, you're on a level 3, level 4 prison yard, the killers, those coldest killers, is going to stand on the bars and sing Luther Vandross late night. And all the other killers is going to tell him what song they want to hear. And these are the if you ever want to meet. So I think a lot of people put too much emphasis on the type of music we do, and they miss the people behind the music. It doesn't take G music for no man to be a G. The G nigga might not even like rap whatsoever, especially not no gangster rap.
I think it helped because it gave us a way out. Without hip hop, everybody would be doing the other thing. Whatever the other thing is, that's what they will be doing.
What would we be doing if there was no hip hop and rap? Where would we be at right now, honestly? Because to me, this is what helped Obama get in, was that. You know what I mean? Because you were able to rap and tell your story where other people that weren't in that environment got to hear it and get to understand what you're going through. Because they wouldn't listen to you if you walked up to them, because as soon as you walk up to them, they like, oh man, I don't know him, who is that? But now that the music made everybody cool, it's like, oh yeah, what's up, man? And then you can kind of, it created a peace amongst the races to me. That's why you got white rappers, Asian rappers, black rappers. So I think without hip hop, we'd be in a very different, dark place right now.
I could say hip hop is never gonna die, honestly, because it's so strong and it's something that everybody's into. and hip hop always comes out with something to make people open their eyes more.
You might see somebody you didn't even know where their father was a homosexual and the mother was a crack fiend. But that's a lot of people that maybe do music that won't even tell you that their mother are them two individuals.
Childhood was, I mean, Rats and Roaches was chilling in the house, man. Eating better than us, you know what I'm saying? Only coming out when guests come over, you know what I'm saying, to further embarrass us, man, and make us feel bad. Word get around in the hood, you know what I'm saying? We got roaches and rats. You know, the food was scarce, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, money was hard to come by, you know? So, you know, man, I mean, I had a real bad childhood, and the only way I made it through was for my love of music. If it wasn't for music, I'd probably be in jail already or dead.
The police department. They have a job to do, and that's to protect and serve the community. But others feel different. Some feel that they take their jobs for granted and abuse their powers to the point where people in the inner city wonder what would it be like to not have the police around. Would it make things better or worse?
Tubman, Tupac, Jakes, Jesse Jackson. Time has gone by so fast, yet blacks stand in line for the poverty checks. Capitalists still need the cash crops picked, but now they use illegal aliens instead of niggas fresh off the ships. But I will succeed and show them a different way. And with a smile on my face, this man will wonder how this brother got through all the obstacles I put in his race. Something like that.
Right now, to tell you the truth, because I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna put it got a lot to do with the police, you know what I'm saying? It got a whole lot to do with the police. So we got a lot to do with jobs, you know what I'm saying? And right now, how it's going, I mean, people out here can't even communicate with each other, you feel me? It's like a hard struggle, you feel me?
You know what I'm saying? The kids, there's situations I could tell you about when they ran up in my house and snatched my little younger brother out and threw him on the ground, coming in the house looking for somebody that had nothing to do with us, right? But when it happened, it stained him. It messed him up. You know, he was always scared. Oh, the police said they coming to get us, or they coming to get us, just because of how they did it. You know what I'm saying?
It's like they do their thing. We do our thing, you know. If they gonna help, that's what's up. Protect and serve, do your job. But if you're gonna create problems, you know, that's not good. Because it's already enough going on in society, you know what I'm saying? They didn't let us down a numerous amount of times to where it's like people take the authority in their own hands, you know? So it's like once you got a community or a certain amount of people doing that, it's really like no use for them, because, you know, you have to govern yourself.
It's unconstitutional. You grew up with your whole life, you feel me? A nigga might stay right on the same corner, they tell you don't be on.
But you stay right there, you gotta walk through the community just to get home. That's not even fair. Then it's the catch-22. If you ain't got no gun, you gonna get shot. If you got a gun, you gonna go to jail.
And once you get in that jail, you gonna turn it up even more.
I realize that what we represent as active gang members, we represent public enemies.
You know, when you had NWA, when they said, you know, F the police, you know, that really affected the community because, you know, that's when the police was trying to, you know, basically they was reacting towards that.
Boy, Devin Brown, was that his name? That got killed and he was only 13 years old. Why a lot of stuff happened, you know what I'm saying? All these young kids, I mean, it seemed like every day by day, they getting younger and younger.
Trust nothing, fear nothing. And what I mean by that, the only thing that's gonna hurt you is what you trust, because it's the closest thing to you. If you got a little fear, you're gonna always stay on your guard. So every car that police officer approach, he has to approach it like it's gonna be his last time approaching it, because you don't know.
Is there a problem in the community with the police? I haven't really been noticing problems in the community with the police lately. I mean, I see that the police can sometimes be on edge, and rightfully so. I mean, there are some guns in the hood that will cut a house in half. So I can see how the police could be scared and be on edge. But, you know, it's not as bad as it was. I see crime going down. I've seen it down, and I've seen, you know, police, when you talk to them, you know, I think that when the relationships between the police and citizens is not hampered or hindered, I think that, you know, when the line of communication is open, I think that there are no problems with the police and the community and the people in it.
They ain't out here protecting and serving the community. You know what I'm saying? Their whole job is to manipulate and control.
I don't feel protected. I feel like they harassing me. I gotta walk, drive by, straighten all up, or they gonna pull me over if I don't straighten up. Like, that's harassment. Yeah. Driving while black.
I mean, I think law enforcement is a job like any other job. You know what I'm saying? I think people get into it because they have an interest in it. I think some people get into it for the right reasons. You got some people that get into it for the wrong reasons. But law enforcement, at the end of the day, is, you know, like that position in society is kind of like a cleaned up version of the overseers. The overseers were people on horseback that just rode around slave plantations and just kept people in order, you know, for the master. So it's a dressed up version of that. It's been dumbed down a little bit, but law enforcement is like any other job, but their place in society is questionable.
Thousands upon thousands of lives have been taken through gangbanging, but millions of lives have been influenced by this lifestyle. Decades of bloodshed in the soils of Los Angeles leaves the land dry. They say only the strong survive, but in the City of Angels, even the strong dies.
I can get banged, I'll get shot, mistaken identity all day long. People don't, when you say you walk down the street and you black and they say, where you from? You say you don't bang, they think you lying. You know what I'm saying? That's what we have all the time. That's why a lot of innocent people be getting shot, because of mistaken identities in these neighborhoods.
It's like everybody over here is trying to get some, you know what I mean? But it ain't really a lot to be got right here. So it's like 50 trying to eat one sandwich or something, you know what I mean? And some is hungrier than other niggas, so they got that survival instinct, you know what I'm saying? Kill or be killed, like animals in the motherfucking forest, you know what I'm saying? Really though, like hyenas, like
I think it was last year, man. It was like 16 homicides over the course of one weekend. It was some crazy number, and many of them are youth. People getting banged on, stray bullets. Like, youth are almost going to be an endangered species. Most black men that I know that grew up in Los Angeles didn't think that they would make it to 18 in this city.
I popped in jail all my life, man. Me is kill or be killed in these streets, dude. It's so grimy where I'm at, man. It's the gutter.
That they look toward the camaraderie of it and the good things about gangbanging, even though there aren't too many good things about gangbanging, but it's the whole camaraderie, you know. And it all goes back to war. I mean, war is always about two sides, and I think people can relate to. I mean, there's always going to be that sense of people, you know, wanting to be against something, and some people can't agree to disagree. So it's almost easy to join a gang, even out of the state, and, you know, equated to the whole camaraderie and we against them. So I think it's just still that whole, you know, that warmongering mentality. It's the whole we against them, and it just spread like wildfire. I mean, people feel like that everywhere, so why not put on a red shirt or a blue shirt and be about us and them? That's how people see it. It's kind of dumb sometimes, but it's the reality. We can't change it.
Everybody doesn't kill in your neighborhood. There are smart kids in every neighborhood. There are kids that do not gangbang. There are kids who do not want to gangbang.
It's really like a lot of gangs. Like, the gang where I stay is the gang, so it be a lot of people hanging around, and I don't like that. Like, I go outside and I get called names, or they try to talk to me. Like, I feel that's not necessary. I feel like they should have more respect for me, even though I live there. Like, they shouldn't do that. Like, they should have more respect for people, and like out there dealing and selling crack to kids, like people, like, no, I don't like that.
I've done the whole affiliated with gangs, going into other people's projects. We throw up, you know, our signs, my little crew versus your little crew. People around me have guns. I've done all that stuff, to messing with the girls, all that stuff, man. And there's nothing you gain from it. Nothing. You get a little temporary fix that ain't even that hot.
It's no way to describe the type of people that get caught up in the game. Like any and everybody, from the most depressed, broke, poor, having nothing, kid, to the spoiled. Mama and daddy got everything. He might be the coldest in the whole pack. It's just they live close enough around it to see it and want to be involved. That's the type of a fool.
This right here, man, I mean, this is what I'm born and raised from this. This is all I know. Hustling, gang banging, whatever. And I'm gonna make sure my kids not going up that way. You feel me?
At the time, like when I was coming up, you know, it was kind of like an honor to be a gang member in a sense. I mean, you know, I say that because the gangs was originally, as far as I remember or was told, the gangs was started to form to protect the black community. Now it seems like the gangs are a menace to the black community. But when I think when I was coming to be in the gang is like an honor in a sense because, you know, they were considered cool, you know, had the girls, but you know, back then, you know, it wasn't about the gunplay. It was about these shoulders, you know, being able to throw these hands. You know, if you get, you know, you had your partners here and on this side, just in case somebody else want to get in, you got somebody to handle them. You know, every now and then you see a good, you know, you get ready to pop some popcorn because you about to see a good chunk of them.
Don't care as much as they used to, you know, and everybody feel like they had a rebellion lifestyle or whatnot, where they was caged or deprived or whatnot, wherever you know, caged, you know what I'm saying, where they couldn't really get the chance to be them, you know what I'm saying? And so when they find these different outlets, it's like, damn, I can be me through this kind of thing, or I can finally be me on this if I just do this, and they find so much love and freedom through that world. It's amazing, but it's only temporary.
Regulations to everything. There's rules and regulations to gangbang, to going to jail, to waking up in the morning, to going to work. I mean, you know, to doing whatever you doing. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's rapping or whatever, it's rules that you do.
You know, everybody be imitating what people be want to know what a real gang member is and all that. Be real with you. This is where we come from, the streets, the gutters. Bleed them. You bleed them with it. It's like you gotta bleed.
I graduated with a few gangsters who right after high school was right back on the street, but they got their education. I graduated with a couple of them that was in junior college. A couple of true gangsters, but they graduated. So, I mean, you have to play your part. You have to do, even if you don't graduate, if you're on these streets, make sure you take care of your block, because that's what we did. We took care of our blocks. When anybody that was on the street, make sure if any kid didn't have an ice cream because he didn't have no money, one of the gangsters came by and was like, here, you know, here go stick some change, dog. Go and get something from the ice cream truck. Nowadays, they can't even talk to each other.
You know, I have one young boy, you know, he's part of like Inglewood Family Bloods or something like that. And he talks about, yeah, my uncle banged, you know, my dad used to bang, yada, yada, yada. So, you know, it's just in me, you know. And this kid actually robbed somebody with a BB gun, but it looked real. This kid's 12. Robbed somebody who's older than me. Robbed them for their phone, their chain, and their money. And he heard the cops, he scared him to death. Scared him to death. Man came to me the first day I started working here at this school, came to me and just started confessing stuff. And we talked about it. I was like, man, that was hot, right? Just like it is in the music video, you know, you running away, the music's playing, you know, everything's cool, the girl is swooning after you after it's all done. He's like, nah. I'm like, exactly. It don't go that way.
A culture out here, you feel me, that young niggas born into. You feel me, niggas that been banging since it started. That's our OG, that's the homies that really put it down and laid the foundation for the hood. But the generations that's coming up after that, they was born into this shit. They don't remember no time when LA wasn't a gang land. You feel me, wasn't a war popping. It's a civil war cracking right now. We could walk 5 minutes that way and get gunned down. You feel me? That's a whole different side of town. That's a whole different element right there.
Yeah,
we don't get along with none of them. They'll come doing gun a nigga down. And they done it before, they gonna do it again. Just like we done it before and probably gonna do it again. Not speaking individually, but collectively, you know what I'm saying? Putting all that money into that shit overseas and talking about homeland defense, but this the homeland right here.
Where's
no,
our defense?
You feel me?
You know, kids aren't just getting in trouble, kids are dying. You know what I'm saying? The kids have always been dying, but it's a little bit it's a little bit different because of how frequent, you know what I'm saying, it's happening. Not the tragedies haven't always been happening, but it's happening a little more frequently than usual.
You can't knuckle up with a nigga, you know what I'm saying, and beat it down, you know what I'm saying, because half the cats that have been shot because they wanted to be hanging out because they was hard. I need a rep, you know what I'm saying, real don't have to hang out and get a rep. Real they rep from sitting in the house. From other already knowing, oh yeah, that cat's real, you know what I'm saying? That cat right there knuckle up with you. He ain't gonna back down from you. But you'll fall into a whole surrounding where a bunch of busters at instead of 100 real niggas and 1,000 busters, they get popped. Each buster gonna get hit. Each real nigga gonna move and get out the way.
Something about keeping it real. I'm from the streets. I'm blacker than you. I'm this, that, and the other. When you black in America, you ain't got no choice but to keep it real. You ain't got no choice because everybody black in America is suffering from racism in some form or fashion. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care what side of town you from. So all this, I'm blacker than you. I'm going to keep it real. I'm from this part of the hood. You ain't. All that is nonsense because when you black, we all going through it.
Say a lot of different and a gangster. There's a lot of hypey dudes that are gangster, homie. And it don't mean they gotta rep a hood, they rep a block. And they nut up on you wearing rainbow colors. Jump on your hood, kick it through, and bust and trip off.
Anything could be changed, but it gotta be like a collective thought. It can't just be one nigga feel like it should be different. It gotta be like a trend. How gangbanging turned into a trend, how everybody wanna be hood, it need to be a trend that everybody need to clean their communities up and take care of their own and set a different foundation for these young niggas that's coming up trying to live up to the reps of the niggas that came before them, but every day.
Always extend our strong arm and we're gonna be right there. You know what I'm saying? And we most likely we're gonna show you love before we ever show you hate. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we move, man.
Wow, it's crazy because, you know, kids these days, they see the real. They see how wild the streets is, and at the same time, they see how wicked the president is in the whole system. So I really don't know where that leads us.
World of chaos. It's a world of chaos because it's fucked up. What are we teaching them? It is not President Bush's job. It is not Governor Schwarzenegger or all the motherfuckers to raise your community. It is up to you as the public there in the community. It's up to your mayor, your councilman. They supposed to be involved in the community too, bringing things.
I say with the rappers, man. I mean, not necessarily saying that they can make a change or that they, you know, Malcolm X, but I mean, for the most part, hip hop music is like the soundtrack to most of the black kids' lives right now. You know what I mean? That's all we do is we listen to rap all day, every day. You feel me? So if you can just start dropping small jewels in there and gems, you know, here and there and let people know that you gotta, you know, stand up and open your eyes, then eventually it'll start to kick in our subconscious brain, you know, because if I'm walking down the street and I'm pissed off because I gotta catch the bus, I'm gonna be thinking about, you know, the world. Don't ask me. You know what I'm saying? Everything you get, you gotta work hard for it. But if I had a song that was like, you know what I mean, if you walk and be happy you alive, if going in the back of my head, maybe I might be a little bit happier about life.
I wouldn't change nothing at all, because rap hip hop is poetry. You know, it gives a person to express their feelings, you know, express what they've been through, you know, and it gives people a chance to relate. You know, that's like saying, you know, change me, do me any way you want, and that's what a lot of rappers express. You know, they don't want to be changed with the big record labels trying to change them with their images and all.
Hip hop can help anybody's community. Just give back to the community that they gave from, or came from, where they grew up, and just give them money and stuff like that.
Hip hop is hip hop, and you can't change that. It's been overcome by many people. You can't just change anything. You have to go through a whole section of people. Like, a lot of people are hip hop, and a lot of people aren't. But people that are hip hop, they're with hip hop.
All I know is I only live once. I know what my heart desires.
Every generation, we cannot export to have one generation not put their quilt for freedom on to put their patch for freedom on the largest quilt. And the one thing that I have to say to you is older black people are not trying to put you down. Older black people love you. You're bone about bone, you're blood about blood.
Change is very possible, or a slim possibility. You know what I'm saying? Change, like a lot of cats will tell you, you know what I'm saying? In this industry, you know, rapping comes from the change that you make. So we look towards this music as our change. You know,
black on black crime stuff goes in waves. I noticed, like, if you look at it statistically over the last couple of decades, it's always in waves. Sometimes it's real up, and then sometimes monumental things happen to where, you know, people get on one page for a minute. Even if it's a brief moment of clarity and unity, it's always welcome. So for the most part, you know, I do think that when black people really look around and see that they are like the total minority of America and that the scarceness of them should be frightening, I think that they'll wake up.
They think we're a lost cause in so many ways, and we've been portraying that over here. I mean, that's been portrayed over here. Not we. I can't say we as in the name because I ain't with it. You know, it is some diamond in the rough.
Everybody loves rap music, but like sometimes you kind of need to tone it down, because what you may not know is that what you're doing, I mean, you know that it's fake, but you know, like little kids, they don't know that it's fake. They may go try that, or you know, it's just like tone it down a little bit, because everybody loves rap music. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just, you know, like sometimes you just need to tone it down. So
take on and lead the kids the right way. You feel me? I mean, you can't just sit back and just, okay, let them do and run the streets and grow up how you grew up. You can't do that. That's not the business. I mean, if you teach your kids, I mean, it's a whole twist to it. If you teach your kids this and with some respect to it, and you know what I'm saying, a little bit of, you know, they gonna be like, okay, take heed to it, like, oh, pops or moms. Let me get this school out the way. Let me get, you know what I'm saying? Woo, woo. Yeah. Me? Nah, man. You feel me? Yeah. I ain't make it past 11th grade.
I think that negative influence is popular. Negative influence is where it's at. So, you know, if it's this and controversial, people want to be a part of it. You know, I wonder if we made getting a degree like some hip hop do that. We're gonna start following that.
Well, let's go back to the peace treaty back in '92. You know, you had a lot of gang members came together for the good of the community. And people think the unity ain't there. It still exists, not as much as it did then, but it exists. But it wasn't destroyed by the community itself like people would like to believe.
My operation from the bottom. If we didn't want to be in the bottom, you have to come on the bottom. You know what I mean? Bottom of what? Snicks and gardens. Where we at right now?
I'm gonna tell you not to trap, but still be fresh, crispy. You know, still get it how you live, but you don't really wanna tell nobody that's 10 years old, man, you gotta go out here and move these packs. You know what I'm saying? You know he got a future, but he gonna end up in jail because the information you giving him don't send him straight to the slammer. You dig?
Yeah, the killer part about it, man, you can't talk about nobody but yourself. So that's where it's gonna have to start, no matter what. You can give somebody some advice. That don't mean they finna take it, man.
Kids just gotta learn how to school themselves. What I did was,
I learned the book. I could have took calculus, trigonometry, all that shit. But I stopped at pre-algebra. Because I knew it wasn't going to do nothing for me. You know what I'm saying? Why study that and go to those levels where it's not going to matter, just learning up. But other levels of education I took further. Criminal justice, I went off into that. You know, they was like, why you taking this kind of class? Because I'm a criminal. And I want to know how to defend a criminal. I want to know my laws. I want to know what I can and can't do. You understand what I'm saying? So when I do decide to jump on the other side of the law, which they say is wrong, which I say is right, and do something, I know how long I'm going to be going if I get caught for it.
Somebody said to me something one time, a quote, that education is a free hustle. And for me, I had parents that grew up in South America, completely impoverished. My dad and mom both moved to the United States to give me an opportunity. So when I grew up, it was like, man, if I got a B, I got grounded. You know, I got put on punishment for a B. So it was either my dad was on my neck. And so I knew, man, this is my ticket right here.
Like my part, I think I have to bring these girls around because I'm a man. I have to make sure that these girls understand what life is now because it's a lot harder for them. You got boys that's doing things early now, and these girls developing early. So that plays. Yeah, everybody got to play their part. My part is with these girls. I got a lot of them.
Yeah, it could be a change if everybody just wake up and, you know what I'm saying, leave all that to the side, the red and the blue, and then, you know what I'm saying, the race war with the Mexicans and all that. If they just leave all that to the side, and well, you know, we can't really say about it, you know what I'm saying, but if they leave all that to the side as far as the black people, I believe we can all come together.
It's like, you know, I always try to make the best out of whatever situation I was in, you know. I always played the cards that I was dealt and just tried to make the best of it. And I wasn't going to cry over nothing I couldn't change.
Definition of a fantasy, it'll be that certain goal or that certain star you're trying to reach that you know you can't get. You know what I mean? It's more of a wish to me.
We in a gated community, you know what I mean? If y'all don't know, the 101, 405, the 605, and the 91, that's our pen. Feel me? The people that run these streets, which y'all call law enforcement, they don't stay nowhere in them gates.
I relate to what they going through because a lot of times if they see me and listen to my music, they just love me for the artist that I am and the person that I am, but they don't really get a chance to know my persona and know what I've been through. So by me coming and becoming personal with them, it will help them to know that, you know, even the bad situation that they may have started off in by not knowing who their family was and being in a foster home and being adopted by another family, it's okay to have falls and to be able to get up and get you some get back because life is full of ups and downs. But you gotta know how to hold on and pull yourself up every time you want to.
Can we make a better fantasy? I'll say kill the fantasy. I don't want a fantasy no more. I lived most of my life in a fantasy, and the only reason I'm where I'm at now and doing the things I'm doing now is because I'm trying to live in reality now.
Well, I don't really know what the question is because I tried to like play along with him, but I don't really know.